This podcast is a production of the Three Ranger Bros Studios, in association with Zero to Hero, the podcast.
Power Rangers Global, Chapter 10, The Center of the Underworld, Part 2. Mark's body was placed on the table. Himiko placed the book she took off Brohan's table in her side bag. Eric walked in with the box he grabbed from outside in the alley. Elias walked in with a bag of supplies. Everyone surrounded Mark's body. Be careful, Rangers. This is a dangerous task, and a task where I cannot join you or aid you. I am banned from the Underworld, and communication devices sadly do not work, Brohan stated. I'm sure we'll do just fine, Lip added.
If it works, you mean?
Himiko retorted.
It has to work.
Elias sighed.
Lip, Anubis is ready to call in Mark's body to the Underworld,
Ra said as he appeared before the team. Okay, everybody, hold on tight, Lip ordered. Everyone placed a hand on Mark's body, and there was a sudden burst of purple and black flame erupting from the ground, which engulfed the entire team and Mark's body. Then suddenly the flames swallowed them, and the flames then died down, leaving no trace. Good luck, Power Rangers, Brohan muttered to the empty room. Loki walked to the top of the Mount Olympus and held up the Black Skull key. Then the ground shifted and set a black ominous gate rose from the ground and overtowered the trickster god. He then placed the key into the gate and turned it. As the gate opened, the other side of the gate became all black, and deathly chills swept past Loki. He grinned and walked into the darkness. The gate closed behind him, and he entered the Underworld. The team opened their eyes and they all looked around. They were standing on black rocks, surrounded by lava streams. The sky was filled with thick black clouds. The odd flash of lightning sparked light amongst the dark sky.
So this is the Underworld. Not exactly a holiday destination, is it?
Eric grunted.
We had to stick together, no trailing off on our own.
Himiko ordered. Lip bent down and checked on Mark's body. Then suddenly Elias pointed to something moving towards them.
What is that?
Elias asked. Everyone looked to see a grey, humanoid, ghostly being with no features whatsoever other than the hollowed-out eyes approaching them. They watched as the spirit walked over to Mark's body, laid down over him, phasing into the physical form. Lip bent down and checked on Mark's pulse. Lip then smiled as he felt the sudden rhythm of Mark's heartbeat begin to go. Mark's eyes snapped open. He sat up. Lip stood and everyone took several steps back with the others. Mark stood up and brushed himself off. Then he saw his friends stood in front of him.
Well, being dead is a whole bunch of fun,
Mark said with a weak smile. You once told me that you would take me to a food place. A special food place. Name that place, Lip barked at him with the point of his finger.
Karma Pizzas. It's run by someone I know in the Ranger Council,
Mark replied confidently. Okay, it's actually him, Lip sighed with relief. Everyone ran up to Mark and Himiko hugged him. Eric punched him in the arm.
Next time you boys have a brilliant plan, don't scare me like that,
Himiko barked.
Welcome back to the land of the living. Well, kinda.
Eric said, looking around at their gloomy surroundings.
I'm just realising it worked. Being dead was very strange. I saw light, then I woke up here. I had walked around as a soul for what felt like forever. Then Anubis found me and offered my body as an offering.
Mark explained.
So happy Mark is back and all, but what do we do now?
Elias asked awkwardly. Himiko pulled out the book that Brohan had given her. She opened it, and one of the pages was a map showcasing each god of death's region, and they stood in the center, which was all blacked out.
These lava streams are south of the center,
Himiko stated. Elias started rummaging through the bag of supplies and pulled out a compass. He opened it and turned to face north.
Who knew you could use a compass in the Underworld?
Elias chuckled.
Let's get this done, so we can stop Loki and get out of here.
Mark ordered. They all started walking through the empty plains of the Underworld. Sandwiched between two regions, the streams of lava beside them, the screams of victims and crying out of pained souls echoed out off in the distance. They hopped over a lava stream and set course to the center of the Underworld. Loki reached the center of the Underworld. He stood there before the gate. He placed his key inside, and the gate opened ever so slowly, the hinges creaking as it swung open. Then, out of the gloomy black mist that awaited Loki, out came two spirits, both of them rather tall, wearing armor that would belong to a knight. "Are we free?" one asked. "I do not think so, my lord," the other one sighed. "King Arthur and Sir Lancelot, I'm in need of you," Loki said with a devilish grin. You are the trickster who killed us and the rest of the Rangers of the Round Table," King Arthur growled. That may be, but since then I have tried to accomplish something. I want something. I need to rule this planet. The gods will not help me. They've tried, but they cannot. But you can, Loki said. "But we are dead. Nothing but tortured souls," Lancelot barked back. "Well, I cannot bring you back to the land of the living alive, but I can let you roam around it dead," Loki said with a chuckle. "You would free us from this hell?" King Arthur asked. "Why, of course," Loki nodded. "What about your friends? Our brothers in arms?" Lancelot asked him. "Well, my friends are all but busy. Your brother in arms? We shall see," Loki sneered. Both the spirits looked at each other with confusion and a hint of awkwardness. Then suddenly 5 individuals came running up to him. "Oh, seriously?" Loki moaned.
Stop right there, Loki.
Elias barked.
"This is where we stop you,"
Mark called out.
and today we end your reign over our home."
Himiko growled. "Who are these people, Loki?" Lancelot asked. No one important," Loki hissed.
Watch your words, Loki. You know you're dealing with the only team of Power Rangers, and these Rangers are gonna kick your ass all across this underworld.
Eric said, throwing his fist into his palm. Both of the spirits looked in shock at the mention of the words Power Rangers. "Let's suit up," Lip called out. Everyone lined up and Mark took one step forward.
"It's morphin' time!"
Mark called out. Mark held out his Cornish power morpher, and it popped open.
"Coda bis ficken!"
Mark called out. Then the morpher dematerialized, leaving the coin floating there. Mark then morphed into his ranger suit. His helmet formed over his head. Then the coin started spinning and it flew at Mark, hitting Mark in the chest. The coin shattered, and Mark's Cornish chest shield formed around him. Mark had morphed into the red Cornish Ranger. Eric held out his fist. His green Celtic ring started to glow.
Now you're not Kilchuck!
Eric called out. Then he held up his fist into the air, and suddenly a Celtic rune formed above him. He then lowered his arm, and the rune lowered itself down, and it phased over Eric, his ranger suit forming over him as the rune descended down. As the rune touched the ground, it vanished. Eric had morphed into the gold Celtic Ranger. Elias pulled off his necklace and crushed the crystal in his hand. The energy that came from the crystal formed into a sword sheathed in its shield. Elias grabbed the handle, which extended from the top of the shield, and pulled the sword out and held it up to the sky.
The Odenskraft Volden Veda.
Elias called out. Then the blue energy seeped out of its blade and it formed around him. Then the energy formed into his ranger suit. His horns grew from his helmet as he sheathed his sword. Elias had morphed into the blue Viking Ranger. Lip held out his arm. Ra appeared behind him and sunk his talons into his forearm. White veins rippled through his wrist, and a wristbound morpher appeared, in the shape of a falcon head. Lip then held out his black crystal scarab, its wings opened and the key extended. He then opened the falcon's mouth and placed the key inside, and then closed the mouth down. Capra! Lip called out. Then the falcon eyes started to glow, and the energy wave pulsed from his morpher, and it wrapped around Lip's entire body, forming into his ranger suit. Ra, the god of the sun, then merged into Lip's body, and his helmet formed around his head. Lip had morphed into the white Egyptian ranger of Ra. Himiko grabbed the cherry blossom hairpin that kept her hair up, and she pulled it out, her hair draping over her shoulders.
Attention time. Neo no mayo no temi me.
Himiko called out. Then the tip of the pin started glowing. She dropped the pin and it sank into the ground through a veil of light. Then Himiko was encased in a giant flower bud. The pink flower started to glow, and it opened. The flower exploded in a flurry of petals. Himiko stood there in her ranger suit. She had morphed into the pink Japanese ranger. The 5 rangers ran at Loki. The 2 spirits stepped back and watched in awe. The red Cornish ranger jumped up and he swung his power axe down. It struck the ground hard as Loki jumped back, then quickly as he could, the red Cornish ranger swapped his weapons to the power sword. He lunged at the trickster, swinging the sword in a devastating set of strikes. Loki summoned his scepter and blocked each strike. Then the pink Japanese ranger threw several smoke bombs, which hit the ground and exploded, the pink smoke surrounding Loki. Then she appeared right in front of him and slashed Loki, then she teleported away. Loki could not see anything in the thick pink smoke. Then the pink Japanese ranger appeared again, and caught Loki off guard, slashing him again with her blade. Then she teleported away. She repeated this action over and over again, hitting Loki relentlessly. Then Loki staggered back. He slammed his scepter on the ground and sent a green shockwave, which knocked the pink ranger back and cleared the mist. The Ranger of Ra flew down and grabbed hold of Loki. The trickster god grabbed onto the ranger's wings and headbutted him. Then he placed his foot on the ranger's chest and pulled the wings hard, ripping them off the ranger's back. He then tossed the wings to the floor. He then booted the Ranger of Ra. He flew back and crashed on the floor, then demorphed. The pink Japanese ranger jumped high into the air and threw a bundle of pink flower petals down. They rained over Loki, then they all exploded. Loki took each explosion, then he stood up and disappeared in a glimmer of light green energy. He then reappeared in a shimmer of light above the pink ranger. He threw a hand out, aiming straight at the ranger. A green snake energy construct exploded from his palm and crashed into the pink ranger, sinking its fangs into her, flying down, crashing onto the ground. The pink Japanese ranger bounced off of the ground and demorphed. The 3 remaining rangers all ran at Loki as he landed on the ground. He breathed out a stream of green flame, making all 3 of them jump back. Then, with lightning speed, he bolted before the red Cornish ranger and slammed his fist into the Cornish flag on his chest shield, which sent him flying back. Then he teleported behind the red ranger and kicked him to the ground. The red Cornish ranger summoned the power daggers. He jumped to his feet, then threw several jabs with the daggers. Loki caught both wrists and kneed the ranger in the stomach, making the red ranger drop to his knees. Then Loki stood there over the red Cornish ranger. He then continued to punch the ranger in the helmet over and over and over again, each strike making the ranger sink more into the ground rumbling underneath the red Cornish ranger. Then Loki grabbed him by the helmet, and with one quick swift punch, he slammed the red Cornish ranger into the ground, his head hitting hard. The red ranger laid there and demorphed.
Stay back, man.
The gold Celtic Ranger barked at the blue Viking Ranger. Then he ran his fingers up his javelin and it started to glow. He threw the javelin and it hit Loki in the chest, which sent him flying back, the tip stabbing into the massive rock that lay behind them. Loki hung there, then he puffed away in a puff of smoke, leaving a wooden log in its place. Then the javelin teleported away and reappeared in the Gold Ranger's hand. Loki appeared centimeters in front of the Gold Celtic Ranger. He smacked the javelin out of his hand and caught it, then he spun around and slammed it into the Gold Ranger's helmet, knocking him off his feet. Then he stood over the Gold Ranger and and slammed the javelin into the Gold Ranger several times, over and over again. The Gold Ranger tried to fight back, but he couldn't withstand the brute force of the amount of attacks. The Blue Viking Ranger slammed into Loki, knocking him off the Gold Ranger. The Blue Viking Ranger swung his sword, lashing out and slashing Loki several times before summoning a massive amount of water and encasing Loki. Loki just walked out of the water bubble like it was absolutely nothing. The Gold Celtic Ranger and the Blue Viking Ranger both teamed up and ran at Loki together. Both of them jabbed at the Trickster God. He grabbed the javelin, pulled the Gold Ranger closer, then kicked him back. Then he blocked the shield bash from the Blue Viking Ranger. He sent an energy blast from his palm into the Ranger's shield, which caused it to explode into 1,000 pieces. The explosion sent the Blue Viking Ranger flying backwards, crashing to the floor. The Gold Celtic Ranger ran in, threw a punch, then a kick. Then both the Gold Celtic Ranger and the God of Mischief entered a dance of strikes and blows, blocking and attacking in perfect harmony. The Gold Celtic Ranger ran up Loki's body and launched himself into the air, then came crashing down with a punch. Loki caught his fist and slammed the Ranger to the ground. Then he floated backwards and raised his hand, and a massive Greek-inspired stone column appeared in a spark of green light. Then Loki dropped it on the Gold Celtic Ranger. The Gold Celtic Ranger was pinned by the column. His legs were crushed. He tried to push it off of him, but was unsuccessful. Loki turned his attention to the last Ranger. The Blue Viking Ranger grabbed his sword and ran at Loki. Loki created a swirling ball of green energy in his palm. He ducked and dodged the sword attacks. Then he rammed the swirling ball of energy in the Blue Viking Ranger's chest. The impact sent him flying back. Then it exploded. The Blue Viking Ranger skimmed across the black rocks and then landed, and then he demorphed. Loki chuckled as he walked away. Then Elias stood up.
There is a reason why you are always written as a bad guy in fiction. Ha! No, sorry. Once or twice, you were determined to be the savior, but even then, you were still alone and sad. There is a reason why you are always a failure.
Elias barked. Oh yeah, boy? Please enlighten me, Loki sneered.
You were born with nothing and turned into a piece of crap. And you're still nothing. You are fighting a losing battle, and that makes you pathetic.
Elias hissed. Loki let out a massive evil cackle. Then, like a bolt of lightning, he moved swiftly behind Elias. He kicked Elias in the knees, and then grabbed Elias's left arm. With his foot pushing down on Elias's back, pulling his arm up, Elias on his knees, he could not move. There was a loud snap. Elias screamed out in pain. His painful cries matched the echoes of his shoulder breaking. Let me ask you, Elias, do you need your left arm? Loki asked. Then a sword appeared in Loki's hand.
Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger, was played by Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger. Elias, the Blue Viking Ranger, was played by Cosplay Son 637. Himiko, the Pink Japanese Ranger, was played by Cosplay Wife 637. Eric, the Gold Celtic Ranger, was played by Cosplay Dude 637. Lip, the Ranger of Raw, was played by Ty Tiger. And Heimdall was played by me, Jared.